There has been, a history of uneven federal disaster recovery and relief that can exacerbate racial and social divides. For instance, studies and reporting that show that disaster aid doesn't always reach, the marginalized or low-income communities that suffer, some of the worst impacts of a disaster. I'm wondering, especially as extreme weather becomes more common and some of these events become more intense, how do you think about this problem, and what are you and FEMA doing to prioritize equity when it comes to disaster recovery?
This is something that I think about every day, and this was one of my priorities when I first came into the agency to serve in this role as FEMA administrator. I took the time to reflect as I was being going through the nomination process about what are the areas that I really wanted to focus on when I came to FEMA in this role. And through my time as a local emergency manager, whether it was in New York City or whether it was in Aurora, Colorado, but also my time as a federal coordinating officer during my first period with FEMA, working with states and local jurisdictions and understanding the diversity of the communities, not just cities, but the neighborhoods within the cities and the challenges that they face. And how do we make sure we understand what their barriers are to accessing the programs that they're eligible for? So we put it in my strategic plan. I have 3 goals, and equity is one of my goals. To make sure that we can deliver emergency management services in an equitable way has been a priority. And we've done a number of things, right? I have told my staff over and over again, just figure out a way to get out of our own way, right? And look at our policies and what can we do within our authorities to make sure that we understand the barriers that people are having and adjust our policies in a way that are going to help us get these services to communities for the things that they're eligible for. Another area that we're focused in on is we talked about with the resilience side, right? So the policy piece was more the after, but the beforehand with these types of events is we want to get out there and help communities understand what it is they can do to better harden themselves and make themselves more resilient. And so through our BRIC program, our Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program, I directed the team to do direct technical assistance. I wanted them to go out and find those communities that were the most under-resourced and the most underserved to be able to get in there and provide technical assistance to help them better understand what was in the realm of possibility to be able to increase their resilience. And I want to give you one example, which I think is a great example. And so Eastwick is the lowest lying neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia, and it has an incredibly long history of flooding. And Eastwick is one of the communities that has been identified as an economically disadvantaged community. And so it made them eligible for this program for direct technical assistance from FEMA. And so we pooled all of our resources, brought in our other federal partners to go in and work with the community of Eastwick to better understand what they needed to help improve their own resiliency. And it's worked. This is exactly where I wanted to see this program go. So we have this under-resourced neighborhood of Eastwick. We sent in these technical resources to go in and help them envision what was in the realm of possibility. And they have now applied for and will most likely receive $700,000 in mitigation funding to help support some of those projects. We need to continue to do this. We are taking a very place-based approach and focusing all of our efforts on the communities that need the most help instead of always being able to provide the assistance to those that have the greatest means. And I think we're seeing some progress already. I think we're going to see a lot more progress in the years to come.